I'm Jeff Rubenstein from the PlayStation blog. We're here in downtown San Francisco at Ubisoft Studios, and we're joined by Frédéric Lefrançois, the producer of Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, and Dan McCullough from Kryptonite Studios, the developer of Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. Now, this is the PSP version of Assassin's Creed. I've played through the PS3 version, the original, and I was expecting, I gotta be honest, a more stripped down version than what we saw. How did you manage to jam the real Assassin's Creed experience into the PSP?
Well, frankly, we have a pretty robust engine that's shipped many games on many consoles. The Elemental engine we've been using for many years, and truthfully, we've just partnered really well with Ubisoft. We've had a lot of access to the Assassin's Creed 2 team and a lot of their code help, a lot of support from that end. And just a lot of iteration, you know. I mean, it took a lot to get the tech onto the smaller platform, but there's a lot of power in that little PSP, so we did all right with it.
Now, if you're out there watching it and you haven't played the game yet, which it's not out yet, so you haven't, you might be wondering how can you do it? The controls are a little different. You're missing a couple of shoulder buttons and a second analog stick. How do you adapt a game that really used every single button frequently to this control scheme? How was that done?
Yeah, basically it was quite a challenge at first because obviously the PSP has less buttons than the home console controllers, but working with the development team, we've been able to map all of the controls that were in the original to the PSP, and even with the camera control. So we're very happy because the player will have the same experience on PSP than it had on the original.
Okay, let's talk storyline. At the end of the original Assassin's Creed, Altair, he had slayed Robert from in the Holy Land and had really gotten the apple of Eden that everyone had been really fighting over. What happens next?
Okay, so yeah, like you said, you get to play Altair right after the event of Assassin's Creed 1. So what happens that the Templars, after the death of Robert de Saab, they fled the Holy Land to settle on the Cyprus Island. So you're Altair and you go on the Cyprus Island in order to fight the Templar occupation. So you will join force with the local resistance and you will get rid of all of the Templars' commander.
Okay. Now, when I think of Assassin's Creed, I think of free running. I think of exploration and a lot of climbing, and then fighting, and then a lot of running away when I get outmatched or outnumbered. Do all these things translate, or are they present in the PSP version in Assassin's Creed Bloodlines?
It was really important when we developed the Bloodlines to have all of the key elements of the franchise. You just named them all. So we'll be able to have to explore the open world. So in this case, there'll be two big cities to explore. So the city of Limassol and Kyrenia, and you will be able to free run, fly to beam, sprint. All of the moves that Altair used to do, you'll be able to perform them. So it's really interesting. We've been able to translate them all on the PSP.
Now, with all the motion, the big cityscapes, and being able to see a far distance is really important for the animation to be like really tight. So you don't obviously end up with any kind of slideshow or anything. Now, watching the demo, it looked super smooth. So technically, what frame rate are you running at? What kind of distance are you able to see, and things like that?
Well, we've been able to actually manage a consistent 30 frames per second throughout the entire game, which gives the smooth feel and of course the absolutely slick nature of the Master Assassin in Assassin's Creed. As far as the distance you can see, we do vary that a little bit depending on if we're in the larger city districts or in the smaller castles. But the distance you can see is pretty wide. You can climb up to high points. You can synchronize. You can see well into the distance, even in the larger city districts. So we've been able to through a couple of different technical solutions, been able to really push that envelope and bring a much broader experience than I think a lot of PSP users are used to.
Now, while the game might be being shrunk down onto the PSP, you have had a couple of years since Assassin's Creed first hit on the larger consoles. What tweaks or things have you added to the formula in that time?
But playing Bloodlines, you can expect all of the original gameplay, and what we did basically is that we've added a lot more mission variety. So from a player perspective, the experience will be more varied, and we've adapted the mission loop so that it'd be shorter to be tailored to the PSP console. So yeah, that's one of the big points that we made.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that we tried to break away from were kind of formulaic nature to the process from memory block to memory block. We've added a few more mission types, and we've broken out the rest so that we can, as Frederick said, we can really mix them up and really give each memory block kind of its own unique feel and unique experience.
Now, we've seen now quite a bit of Assassin's Creed 2, especially at the PlayStation press conference at E3. We've seen some cool moves from Ezio. Is Altair going to be able to maybe borrow any of those?
Yes, yes, there are some cool moves coming from AC2 that has been introduced into Bloodlines, so there'll be definitely some. The grab from ledge is definitely one of them, if I have to say one, and there'll be some others.
That's a fan favorite one, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knew out there that one of the coolest moves, at least that we've seen so far out of Assassin's Creed 2, will be playable in Bloodlines. So anytime we see a major franchise like Assassin's Creed that exists on the PS3